Okay, got it.
Well, go ahead.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone who's joining tonight for this Zoom meeting to learn about Juice Plus. And because as I joined this business, I've learned just so much opportunity of where it can go. I love the credibility of the company and everyone on my team. Like, I admire them so much and so much from them about nutrition. And so, anyway, again, just welcome everyone who came. And those of you who have never really learned much about it, to be able to learn more about Juice Plus. And I thought I would share out to do this, to become a rep. And so, anyway, a number of years ago, I started going to Dr. Nick Barnes for chiropractic care. And I learned a lot about just health and wellness. And that was just really opening my eyes to more and more of how important it is that we take care of our bodies and the way our immune system needs to be strengthened and help to keep us from getting sick as much. And so as I've learned more and more about that over the years, I also ended up meeting Dr. Brian. And so I'm not seeing all the videos like I was before, but Dr. Brian is on here. I just can't see him. But anyway, and he's married to Nikki, and she's the one that I signed up under to join Juice Plus. And so anyway, sister, what was really neat is that there are all these different mutual connections. So my sister actually met Brian and Nikki somewhere else. My met them, and she started going to this Bible study that they used to host. And she started taking the omegas, which we have capsules, which are plant-based, and you get even more source of omegas through these because it's straight from the plants. So anyway, as I learned about this from Gina, um, I started hearing more about it from Dr. Brian as well. And then I started getting connected with Nikki and just to learn more. And I just realized how much it makes sense. Like I decided to order the Duo, which is the fruit and vegetable capsules. And literally I get the servings that I recommend daily on a daily basis of fruits and vegetables. And the fact that none of the plants are sprayed with anything on the farm, no toxic sprays, everything is just natural and just of the best quality that they have on the farm. So, anyway, as I learned more about that, I decided to order those. And then the more I learned about the company, I decided to join. And anyway, I don't want to go on too long. So, but I'm excited to continue to learn and to continue to grow as with Nikki and Julie, and then my friend Stacy. She just joined with me recently. She joined last night as a rep, and she's on here. And just everyone else on the team. It's just been a joy to get to know, and I've also appreciated all the support. They're so helpful. Like as I'm growing in this to continue to learn as a new rep. So, Julie, you can take it away from there.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing. And it's always great to hear just how Juice Plus is impacting people just right from the beginning and how it just makes sense. So we are going to start our slideshow. I'm going to share my screen. Everybody should be able to see that. So Nikki and I and Dana and Stacy and Brian are a part of a group of people that are seeking to inspire healthy living around the world. And we're doing this one simple change at a time. We're doing it together in community, which is always better. But first we have to figure out where we are at. So tonight we're going to spend a little time educating kind of around where we're at right now in our world, and then just a simple solution, and we will hear another story too. So the presentation runs about 15 minutes, so dial in because we're going to throw a lot at you. So where we are is we are unhealthy, and that's just the truth of the matter. 1 in 4 people will die of heart disease, 1 in 2 women, 1 in 3 men will die of cancer. 1 in 3 have diabetes by 2050. And if we look around, our children are obese. So it doesn't, I'm sure, come as a newsflash to you that this is true. You look around you and you can see that. You can see that in people just from looking at them. You can see that from people that you know that are suffering with these things. I know for myself, I would have to use both my hands probably a couple times over if I was to start counting all the people that have been impacted by these diseases. And, you know, we kind of think that's normal now because it's common, but just because it's common does not mean that it is normal. When my mom was 46, like I am right now, I know, is because I've asked her, she didn't know one person suffering from any of these things. And I don't think that was unusual. That was what was normal. And in just a generation, we really, really have just done a 180. And there are a couple of reasons for that. The first one is that environmental toxins are on the rise. They are increasing, whether it is the air that we're breathing, whether it's the water that we're drinking, the runoff from companies around us, it's toxins that we're putting on our skin. You know, read the ingredient list on a lotion or a shampoo or your detergent or your fabric softener, which doesn't even list them, but has more toxic things in it than you could say. Certainly, actually, you wouldn't be able to say them because you wouldn't be able to pronounce them. But we're putting that on our skin, which is our largest organ, which is soaking everything in. So toxins are increasing, most toxic generation that has ever lived. And at the same time, our food quality is decreasing. We're eating processed food. More than 50% of what the normal American is eating is processed, with all of the things listed there in them, okay? And then we're losing nutrients at the same time. Unfortunately, so much of what we buy in the supermarket is being shipped to us. I just found out a couple of weeks ago that the average distance that lettuce travels to you in your store is 1,500 miles. Keeping in mind that every day that it has been picked, it is losing nutrients. So where food used to be a help in us, helping us in this plight against fighting disease, it just isn't the case anymore. So what can we do to be healthier? There are a number of things. Exercising, movement every day. It doesn't have to be crazy hard, but it's just walking or just moving our body. Fitbits can certainly help with that, and just being mindful. Sleeping 7 to 8 hours an evening and just good restful sleep, managing stress, which is a silent killer, drinking water. I know a good just rule of thumb is half your body weight in ounces. For me, several years ago, I decided just to fill up a pitcher on my counter. And when I was done with that, I knew that I had drank what I needed to. Using safer products. The great thing is there are so many choices now. We can be savvy consumers, and there are a lot of companies, a lot of direct sales companies actually that are offering these kind of products. And so making switches slowly, be it the makeup you're wearing, the lotion, or the cleaning products you're using. But tonight we're going to be talking about eating real food. And within that specifically, we're going to be focusing on fruits and vegetables, because fruits and vegetables, they do help prevent disease. There is a direct correlation between what we eat and how our body works. So let's just talk. This is probably the deepest slide that we'll get into, so bear with me. Oxidative stress, you may or may not have heard that term thrown around, but what exactly is that? That is the stress that's caused on our body just by living. We cannot get away from it. There are good things that cause oxidative stress. There are bad things that cause oxidative stress. Let's say bad things, right? Smoking, drinking, staying up too late, being out in the sun, all of those things are going to age our body. But there are some really great things that cause oxidative stress. Being pregnant is one of the most highly oxidative stress events in a person's life. So as a female, I actually have 8 children. I have led a highly oxidative stress life. So I know that I need all the help I can get in that area. Exercise. Okay, so we think exercise is great, and it is. It works our lungs, it works our heart. But if we are not fueling our body well after we exercise, then we are actually aging our body while we do it. So that's the bad news. It causes aging and disease. The good news is that antioxidants are provided in nature, in food, in plants, and only plants, to be able to protect us. So they actually come in and they neutralize the free radicals in our body that are caused by oxidative stress. Those free radicals are going around, they're pinging all of our cells, seeking to damage them. Antioxidants come in and they just grab that free radical, neutralize it, and help it leave the body. So they really are the body's answer to reducing oxidative stress. So in an apple, you see this very clearly. If you put lemon juice on an apple, you will stop it from browning. I never knew why that was. I just knew that we always put lemon juice on a fruit salad. I just thought that was the ingredient, but it was there because lemon juice is an antioxidant. And that's what happens on our body. On the outside, we might see wrinkles and such happening when we're aging. The same thing's happening inside, but we can slow that down with fruits and vegetables. And that's why the news is they're not just good for you, they're so good for you that they could save your life. Time Magazine 2003 already knew this. So we need 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. And that's if we're just leading a normal life. If you are fighting disease, if you exercise, if you are pregnant, you need 16 to 20, okay? Now, when I was growing up, it was 5 a day. That was the government campaign. We needed 5 a day. It's 7 to 13 now. And why is that? Part of it is what we talked about earlier. Produce is picked way early. It's not developed. It doesn't have the nutrition that it could have. So 85 to 90% of the nutrition of the plant comes into the plant when it is ripe on the vine. So when that peach is nice and ripe and it looks like you just want to eat it, that's when it has the most nutrition in it. The peaches that are sitting in your store in the summer that are hard as rocks, they were picked early. They never got a chance to be as nutritious as they could have been if they had been allowed to ripen. That is the majority of what we are eating today. So 90% of us don't even get enough servings. 7 to 13 fist-sized servings, okay? I don't know about you, but that is really hard to eat every single day. Not to purchase it and eat it before it goes bad, prepare it. It's a lot, which is why we're not doing it. And then we don't get a lot of the variety. We are creatures of habit, which is not a bad thing, but we tend to eat the same things over and over again. So this is a great picture of kind of what we're up against. The National Institute of Health keeps freeze-dried fruits and vegetables throughout the years, and they can do studies on them. So this was a study that was conducted in 1997, but it showed that spinach that was picked in 1953, one bowl was equal to 53 bowls of spinach in 1997. And that was for the iron content, but we can obviously use our deductive reasoning skills to know that if iron had gone, down that much, then so had everything else in the spinach. So that is why, even though when we're doing our best, we just can't do what we need to. So we knew we had a problem. We've known we've had a problem. And back in the 50s and 60s, we developed a multivitamin. So 70% of Americans are still trying to fill this gap that we have with a multivitamin. But unfortunately, a multivitamin just has a few isolated ingredients. Even your best ones are only going to have like 20 to 30 things in them. But we are seeing that research shows that isolated vitamins actually do more harm than good in comparison to whole food. Okay, that is what we were made to run on. We don't grow vitamin trees, we grow apple trees. And there's a reason, because our bodies were designed for food, and man is never going to be able to replicate that. So an apple has more, on this side of your screen, you have the vitamins, right? 10, 15 vitamins and minerals. The apple has over 10,000 phytonutrients. This is the name of 400 of them. We've only named 400 of them. So it's kind of like Galileo, right? When he first discovered the stars and was sure there were about 300 of them, and we kind of laugh now. I feel like that's a little bit when we were like, oh, we figured out there are 15 essential vitamins and minerals. No, there are 10,000, and they're discovering more and more and more. And every one of those works synergistically in our body to turn on the other ones. So this is where Juice Plus enters in. What is Juice Plus? Juice Plus is the nutrition of over 30 fruits, vegetables, and berries added to your diet. So these are whole foods that are picked at the peak of ripeness, okay? So everything in there is vine ripened, and then it's produce that's pulverized. It's not juiced, it's pulverized, and then it's dried into powders, and we extract the sugar and the water from it, and we have just what's left. The plant powders, or the essence of the plant, is left. And then we also have the omegas that Dana mentioned at the beginning of the call as well, which skips the fish, and we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later on. So this is the spectrum that you get. There are 30 servings of fruits, vegetables, and berries in Juice Plus every single day. And I don't know about you, but there is no way that I am eating this in one day on my own, let alone 1 week, let alone 1 month, because well, I don't really, make artichokes on a daily basis. And honestly, I'd never even heard of a bilberry before I found it in here. So this is Juice Plus, and it is such a great, great, simple solution. So those were our capsules, the fruit, veggies, and berries. And then we also have our fourth capsule we came up with 2 years ago now, our plant-based omegas, over 10 years in the making. And this is what I love about Juice Plus, you guys. We don't have a catalog full of things. We do a few things and we do them really, really well. So 10 years of research to bring this plant-based omega to the market. Is the only one on the market that is remotely like this, in that it is plant-based, it is cold pressed. And what that means for you is that there are not other ones on the market that I know of that are cold pressed, that do not heat the oil in order to seal their capsule. Juice Plus has figured out the technology needed to not heat that oil so that we don't lose any of the nutrients in that oil or make it go rancid. So not just omega-3, but omega-3, 5, 7, 6, and 9 from 6 different oils, skipping the fish. We all think about fish oil as omegas, but the reality is fish don't have omegas that are inherent to them. They have to go get them just like we do, and they go to algae. So we skipped the fish, we went straight to algae. We can grow algae in an environment that is not toxic. Unfortunately, our oceans are toxic, and the fish oil, like the fish, many times has mercury and other toxins in it. So this is just a great solution. I love our omegas. And finally, our last offering, our Juice Plus Complete Shakes that are made with non-GMO ingredients. They have 13 grams of protein that is bioavailable to you. Unlike a whey protein that is highly inflammatory and hard to digest, this is a vegan protein with another 15 plants that are not in our capsules. So when I take my capsules every day and have a shake or a pudding or an energy bite, I am putting 50 plants into my body every day. So why is it unique? Dial in here, because this really is what sets Juice Plus apart. The first thing is that it is food. So if you go to your supplement cupboard, which I used to have before I found Juice Plus, I had a lot of them. Now I just really have Juice Plus. And you would turn the label around, you were going to see a supplement label. But if you turn this label around, you're going to see nutrition, okay? Just like you would on a bag of carrots, just like you would on spinach. And if this was sold in the stores, it would be in the produce section, not in the aisles, because it's food. It's not a multivitamin with the isolation and everything we talked about before. It is able to react in your body just like food does. Your body takes it in, knows exactly what to do with it, and can use every bit of it. Second, it's NSF certified, and that means it is beyond organic. So I am so passionate about this because I think that we feel like organic means that it's not sprayed with anything, but unfortunately it doesn't. There are over 200 items that your produce can still be sprayed with when it's labeled or certified organic by our government, just in lesser amounts. Juice Plus is beyond organic. It is certified by a third party. Less than 1% of vitamin supplement companies have the certification. And what it says is that nothing is sprayed on it. They are testing batches multiple times to guarantee that nothing is in it that shouldn't be: pesticides, herbicides, funguses, lead. For instance, back in the beginning of 2019, there was lawsuits against prenatal vitamins. And why? Because there were unsafe levels of lead in them. And here you have moms taking them to do their best, right? Because that's standard of care, passing on lead, which crosses over the placental barrier, not knowing, because nobody's regulating supplements. That's an unregulated industry, which is a little bit concerning, because how do we know? We don't. We don't know the companies personally. We don't know the people personally. So Juice Plus has went the extra mile. Even though they don't have to be regulated, they have decided that they want to do this. It's expensive and it takes a lot of energy, but that's the way that they go the extra mile to have that credibility, which I so appreciate. And the final thing is that it is the most researched nutritional product in the world. If you have an Alexa at home or a Siri, ask her and she will tell you that what I'm telling you is true. So this is gold standard research. It's done at leading hospitals and universities around the country, our country, and actually around the world. And this is done on real people with blood drawn, just the way that you would, pharmaceutical or any other research. And what it proves are the things listed here. We have research that proves that it contributes to cardiovascular wellness, supports a healthy inflammatory response, so it's going to decrease inflammation. It's going to support healthy cholesterol, healthy lung function, skin and gums, supports the immune system, maintains healthy DNA. It reduces oxidative stress. We spent a little time earlier talking about that. Oxidative stress and inflammation are two of the key factors that lead to disease. Juice Plus has been proven to reduce both in your body. And then finally, 19 studies that show that it's absorbed by the body. So just like you eat a salad and your urine does not turn a different color, you eat Juice Plus, nothing changes color. If you've taken vitamins, your urine is usually changing color. And that's a sign to you that your body is not able to use that and actually is finding it toxic. So it's excreting it from your body. So that's the reason that thousands of doctors take Juice Plus and recommend it to their patients. Over 8,000 medical professionals share Juice Plus, which is just so unique. And I love that I get to offer the same product that doctors do. And Dr. Richard Dubois, who is head of infectious diseases in Atlanta, Georgia, says this: there's nothing else available any place in the world with or without prescription that has been clinically proven to do what Juice Plus has been proven to do. With more than 40 studies, there just really isn't any comparison. So we also have a wonderful program that allows children to eat free. So if an adult is taking Juice Plus, they can sponsor a child ages 4 to 18 or a full-time college student, and they can take Juice Plus for free for up to 4 years. Truly, we are a company that gives back. And there is a lovely, like you're enrolled in kind of a foundation where you fill out a survey once every 4 months. And this is what it has shown, that kids are doing better when they are taking Juice Plus, and you can read some of those things there. And then our last thing that we offer, we love to help you. If you can't, eat it, then you can grow it. So tower gardening is truly the future of growing. And I know that I have a couple of these and love them, and we are able to grow. We're still growing outdoors right now. We're doing it with less water, obviously less space, 30% more yield. It's going quicker. But my favorite part, you guys, there are no weeds. I have always been a gardener traditionally. And every year I start out and I'm all excited, and then every year the weeds get the best of me. So I love this because there are no weeds, and I just get to pick and grab it and come on in. I don't even have to wash it because it's not in dirt. So this is just kind of the last education part here. So many of us are trying to lead a healthy lifestyle, and many times we're trying to lose weight and do our best. And we're just trying to figure out what is going on here that, I can't seem to get a handle on perhaps my wellness or my health. A lot of times what we find that we're doing is dieting or over exercising. Okay, so we're reducing nutrition if we're dieting. Okay, rather than adding nutrition to our body, we're taking it away. And because of the toxic world that we live in, we are storing toxins because our liver can't keep up in the detox area. So it ends up storing them. And where does our body store toxins but in our fat cells? And so in its quest to survive, if you will, the body wants to keep fat away from our organs. So it puts it in fat cells around our middle, our hips, our thighs. That's where we're going to store it. So when we try to take away calories or we over-exercise without releasing those toxins, the body's going to do everything to keep the fat on us because it's got toxins. So we end up having rebound going on. We will lose a little weight, but we haven't detoxed. So then as soon as we start eating a normal amount again, we gain it right back. The difference with Juice Plus is that Juice Plus is a gentle detox every day. So we have stored fat that is protecting vital organs. We cleanse every day. We give the antioxidants to help the toxins come out, and our body then does not need to hold on to that extra fat. So it's not really about being skinny, it's about being healthy. And when we are healthy, when we fuel our body well, many times our body will change. We may lose weight, we certainly will be feeling better because we're not carrying around those toxins. So best part about Juice Plus is how affordable it is, because if you have been to your grocery store and tried to buy organic produce anytime recently, you know how expensive it is. One organic apple is going to run you nearly $2. So Juice Plus is $2.50 a day for our flagship product, the Trio, and then kids are eating for free. Our shakes are 233 a serving, and omegas are $1 a day. As you can see, there is a a habit that many of us might have on one side of our screen that costs $4 or more, and I look at this as just another the deposit in the health column, if you will, that I can make every day that serves me much better than another habit that might be enjoyable, but probably not going to be producing many fabulous results. So we just would love to invite you to join our mission, either by checking out the products, talking to the person who came or who invited you tonight. And right now I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to ask Nikki and Dr. Brian to unmute themselves and share a little bit about their Juice Plus story.
Well, thank you, Julie.
You're welcome.
As Julie said, my name is Nikki, and
I'm Brian. Hi.
Or Dr. Brian. I married a chiropractor, and we have 7 kids.
Yes.
And being in the health industry, health and nutrition is our lifestyle. So we've already been eating really clean and focusing on health for many years.
Yeah, and we're vegan too on top of that. So it means we eat lots and lots and lots of plants.
We do. We eat
Yeah.
a lot of plants. But when Julie shared Juice Plus with me 2.5 years ago, this just made complete sense because, of course, I want to be healthy, and we're not always perfect, and we're not eating that variety of plants. And as Julie talked about, the soils are just depleted. So we just felt really confident, and we've been so blessed by taking Juice Plus because every day it's such a mom win for me knowing that my entire family is getting this top-notch nutrition in such a simple, doable, and affordable way. The biggest thing that we noticed was
every December. Yeah, so every year around December, we would miss 1 or 2 Christmas parties. One kid would get sick, and then the next kid would get sick, and everybody's staying home.
It was like dominoes during cold and flu season. And the first year we started taking Juice Plus, we just noticed that we skated by that cold and flu season, which was such a blessing because who has time to be taking care of a household full of sick kids? So
go to the party.
Yeah, and miss the parties, miss the fun stuff. So we just know that we are leaving our kids such an amazing legacy, the gift of health. And these are habits being formed now that we would hope they would take out of the household.
Yeah, and that reminds me of a quote by Dr. B.J. Palmer,
Which
the developer of chiropractic, and he said, "You never know how far-reaching something you may think, say, or do today will affect the lives of millions tomorrow." And this is our way of, impacting our own health, our kids' health, hopefully our grandkids' health, and generations on down the line, as well as our friends and family at the same time.
Oh my goodness. Thank you guys. I love listening to you share every time. It's awesome. You're like the Nikki and Brian show. I think it's awesome. Oh, well, let me just wrap up. We did well after we got started a little late. We're still doing well on time. So I just want to share real quickly how I found Juice Plus and why I take the time to share and really am on this mission. It was nearly 4 years ago that my son was hospitalized. He was in the pediatric intensive care unit. For the 4th time he had been hospitalized, and each time was getting more serious, and he was being hospitalized with asthma. And this asthma was coming on every 4 to 6 months, and when it happened, it was serious enough to hospitalize him. So I'm finally getting the diagnosis. I'm sitting down with the doctor. He's handing me prescription after prescription after prescription of the steroids that my 4-year-old would have to start taking, because even though it was happening every 4 to 6 months, we needed to do this every day to get a handle on it. And I just knew that there had to be a root cause to this. This is my sweet little 4-year-old. We ate well, like Nikki and Brian. I'm committed to clean eating. I run a co-op out of my home, connecting local people to local farms. Like, this is my wheelhouse. So to have a son who had asthma was not making sense to me. And the steroid, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with taking a steroid for a while, but to do it permanently, I'm like, okay, we're going to manage symptoms and we're never going to get to the root cause here. And so I took the prescriptions, I filled them, and I threw them in the back of my closet. And I thought, we've got 4 to 6 months to play with, because this was how long they were going in between these asthma attacks. Meanwhile, I had a friend named Julie who had been telling me about Juice Plus, and I really thought it was a vitamin, and I really thought I didn't need it because we ate really well, and I just kind of ignored her for a while. And she was just pleasantly persistent. And she just kept telling me, you know what, why don't you give it a try? And then she told me about the kids program where I could get it for free. And I was like, well, okay, what do I have to lose? It's free. But I really didn't expect anything. So he started taking one part of the Juice Plus. I started taking the other. I was pregnant with our 8th baby at the time. And 2 months went by, nothing happened. 3 months went by, 4 months went by. Now 4 months, I started to pay attention. And then 5 months went by and there was a season change, which triggered asthma for him. And he did begin to have the same thing begin to happen. I thought, okay, this is where we end up in the hospital. But you know what? We didn't end up in the hospital. The asthma attack happened, but it was manageable. We were able to manage it. We were able to manage by keeping him quiet, by not having him running around. We diffused some essential oils and we got through it. The next time it happened, 4 to 6 months later, it was less. And now it's been a year and a half since anything has happened. We never used any of those steroids, which is lovely. And he never went back to the hospital. And meanwhile, I'm taking Juice Plus and having a wonderful pregnancy, but measurable for me was I was always anemic. For 30 years, I struggled with anemia. And when you're pregnant, that makes it even worse. And so I could never do anything. I took every iron supplement known to man and did nothing but constipate me and never moved my hemoglobin, but like a tiny bit. Within 4 months on Juice Plus, I went, for anybody in the medical health profession, this will make sense to you. I was like a 10.6, and within 4 months, I was a 14.8. So I moved significantly into the normal range for the first time in my life. And yet there's no Juice Plus. There's no iron listed on the back of Juice Plus, right? There's no iron listed there, but clearly it has iron because it has dark leafy greens in it. But iron needs a lot of things to work synergistically in your body. And so that was enough for me to want to take a closer look at this. And I really do feel like it's our deposit into the health column in our lives every single day. You guys, there's a lot of things taking withdrawals out of your health column, okay, because of the world we live in. What can you do to put deposits in every day? Juice Plus is such an easy, as Nikki said, it's just a win, mom win for sure. And just all in all, peace of mind for me living in the world we live in today. So thank you for listening to our stories tonight, and I hope you learned something. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording